Hello and welcome to the introduction to Gates, a smart farming simulation platform funded by the European Union. This video will introduce you to the basic features of the game and how to access them in the most efficient way. So first, once you enter the domain, you will see this screen. And from this screen on, you can just click on Login and then come to the login screen. In the login screen, you have various options. You can either play offline, but I will not recommend it. It's best to either create a new account or use account that you've already created. So for this purposes, we will just start with a new account. Click here. And you can see some account information is automatically created for you, and you can edit it and change it to your preferences. In this overview, you have access to different sub-features of the game. And so right now you can either start with the SFT training module. This will be incorporated shortly, and this will allow you to try out some SFT technology for your own. So basically experiment how it would feel and be like to do some irrigation and some other SFT services in a gamified interface. To the right, you see the various scenarios options. So you can continue if you've already started the scenario, but you can also create your own scenario, and I will show you how that looks. And you can here provide in some information, a title, an introduction, what will appear if you start the scenario, and you can put it in a campaign. You can switch a region. You can decide basically a whole bunch of different parameters for yourself. We won't do that right now. So instead, we will use one of the scenarios that are already available. And we will do that by going on the story scenarios. So we have different campaigns of scenarios. And this is the basic campaign that should introduce you to the basics of the game. You have a tutorial scenario here. This is the best way to start and get familiarized with the game. So you can just play it and it will guide you through it step by step. But right now you have me to do that, so we won't do it for now. Instead, we will also not pick this one. This will introduce you to the basics, but without some SFT technologies. But we will start with the first scenario that introduces you to SFT technologies. Okay, you can see here the different information about the scenario. So you can see the order it has in the campaign. So theoretically, you're supposed to play it at the third, but you can start it as well. This is set in Serbia, so we have different regions in the game. Your farm is 20 hectares big, and you start with 12,000 euros, and your goal is to make 1,000 euros and perform some farming operations and use SFT services. What those mean, I will tell you soon. So you click on Start, the game loads. You see the introduction text here. So in this scenario, SFTs are unlocked, and you can first use your SFTs to increase your yield. To successfully finish your scenario, you must grow and harvest your crops like you did in the last scenario. In addition, you must purchase at least one SFT service. SFTs you don't have to purchase, but can subscribe for a monthly fee from the SFT shop. Good luck and happy farming. SFTs are unlocked, and you can use your first SFT. All right, so this is the main screen of the game. In this screen, you see all the relevant information you need to decide what to do next. Most importantly, you have here the timeline where you can, or the time control center, I think would be a more appropriate way to phrase it, where you can control the game speed. So right now it's on pause, and you can put it on normal speed, or you can use it to fast forward, or you can even jump to the next scheduled farming operation, which is not possible right now because we don't have any farming operations scheduled yet. Here's a visual representation of your field, and you can see it's just quite empty right now because we haven't done anything with it yet. We don't have any crop now, but we have a size of 20 hectares to work with. The moisture is something you always have to keep in mind because you don't want your soil to dry out. And you can see right now here, this more brightly colored area is an indication of the optimal value. but it's hidden somewhere in here. It's usually more or less in the middle. So right now we are on the lower end of the spectrum, so it wouldn't hurt to give it a little bit more water. Concerning nutritions, we're very well. Very good situation right now, and you can see right now we have to just keep an eye on it if it drops any lower. On the right side, we don't have much information right now because we don't have any yield, and so we don't have any yield quality or expected revenue. So we should change that now, and then just start with our third farming operations. Let me get a step back. So this is the calendar, and in the calendar you can see a prediction of the weather of the upcoming days, and you can also see the current day right now highlighted with a white border, and those are the past days, and usually everything that's in this brighter or in this redder color is interactive. So you can just click on anything of any of the upcoming days and then schedule operation for that day. Let's start with the next day. And right now we could start with tillage operations, which require a good soil moisture. So right now you can see to the right the various operations to choose from. It starts with tillage, but we can start with irrigation as well and put in a little bit more moisture in the ground. So right now, as I said, we're on the lower spectrum. So let's just put a few thousand liters, and you can see it's not very expensive. So to the right, you see the relevant information for this farming operation. You can see the water price and the efficiency for the irrigation. And to the left, you can see the values that you changed. So you can here adjust the amount of water, and you see how much it will cost you. And you can see water is not very expensive. All right. Going back, we start play. And you can see, right, our water level is increased because we just irrigated the field. Okay, let's schedule some more operations. Next, we should schedule the tillage operations. We plow the field and make it ready for sowing. And finally, we should choose a crop and then sow it. So we have two crops available for this scenario. It's maize and wheat, and you see they have completely different parameters. So wheat is quite cheap per kilogram, but it takes a lot of time to ripen. Maize is significantly more expensive, but it is much faster as well. So let's stick with maize for introduction. Okay, we have scheduled the operations for the next day, and now keep an eye on this view to see how it affected. First, you see here, this is tillage operations being performed, and next we have sort our field. So now you can see here all the values that appeared. So ripeness just started to increase because we have something that's ripening. You can see the current yield in the ground. The yield quality, of course, is very low because it's just very freshly planted and it wouldn't make any sense to sell it now. Here you can see how much money you would get by selling it. It's not very sensible now, but it will increase steadily and rapidly in the last few days of the ripening process. And at the end, you can see here the field status, and this shows you if the field is healthy. And this means it's not infected by any pest, and it will change if it has got any pest infections. And now you can see here the visual representation changed because we entered next stage in the farming or in the crop ripening, I should say. And now here this is changed to infected, which means we have a pest infection right now, and we can combat that infection by going in the calendar, clicking on the next day, choosing spraying, and we don't have to adjust anything. We just will have to pay the money and spray some pesticide to get the field healthy again. You can see here that once you've sprayed, it's protected for the next 7 days because the pesticide will stay on there for time. So click on spraying. I keep going, and right now here you see the protection and the protection wearing off over time. All right, so nutrition is still in an okay area, but I think we should fertilize maybe. And you see moisture is jumping a little bit up and down from time to time. This depends on the weather conditions. So if it rains, of course, we have nature's irrigation. Okay, so let's put in some fertilization. And we can always irrigate a little more just to be on the safe side. You see irrigation jumped up, moisture jumps up, and we're on a very healthy place right now with our little farm. Our field status is healthy, we have no pest infections, and the ripening just increases. While this is all happening and moving forward, I want to show you the SFTs. So just to prove it again, you can start here and enter the SFT job. And once you did it, you have a selection of different SFTs. For the purpose of this scenario, only a few SFTs are available, specifically SFT services. So here we have SFTs for the different farming operations, and for the irrigation, we have irrigation scheduling. And this is an SFTs that you can here switch between different SFTs. This is an SFT service that doesn't require initial price, but just is paid for in monthly payments for €7. And it gives you good advantages for that amount of money. Namely, it increases the yield you will get out of your efforts by 9%. And it will increase irrigation efficiency. You also actually save money by using it because you have to irrigate less to get more effect out of it. So we just click here, and you can see it appears here. And right now we have it in our visual representation as a little satellite that provides us with information and allows us to use our resources more efficiently. And two things have changed again in the last few seconds. First, this visual representation changed, which just indicated that the crop has ripened to another stage. It's not yet there yet, but it's making progress. And again, the crop is infected by pesticides. Those can happen 3 or 4 times in a growing season. You always have to keep an eye on the field status. And if it's infected, again, we'll just go here, click here, next day, go on spraying, and just spray the field. And a few seconds later, we're safe again. So, most of the things you'll have to do is just keep an eye on your parameters. And now you can see, because the ripening is proceeding well, the yield quality starts to increase more rapidly. And with the yield quality, also the value of our yield increases. So this again infected, and I usually pause as soon as I see this. So I have no time constraints when I want to schedule anything. And you can see right now we have to spray again. What I wanted to tell you before that is this is a value or the amount of money that you will get if you harvest. So if you would harvest now, you would get €459.77. And you can imagine, for the amount of money we've already put in, because we have invested a few thousand euros, this would not be a good thing to do. But it's also not ripe yet. So this is the main factor. So we just have to wait a little longer and make sure that our field stays healthy during this time. We are protected again, and now we can go a little faster. This is like a speed boost, and you can see here again the yield quality increasing rapidly now because we're only a few days away from optimal ripening. The color has changed again. The money is increases correspondingly, but our soil moisture and our nutritions are not in the best place they could be. So we'll just irrigate again, fertilize again, and we keep going. Both values are again in a good place. I can tell you, infected again. Let me quickly spray. Okay. Now, you see, we're almost there. All right, we're done. Okay, we see yield quality is at the maximum level. You see the ripeness is almost finished, or we're not almost finished. We're basically ready to harvest right now. So what we're doing, again, we go in the calendar, we click on the next day, we click on harvest, and here again you can see this is the current value for the yield you've put in. This is the ripening, so we're right in the middle. It costs a little to harvest as well. We can afford it, and we will make money by doing it. So we have finished the scenario. We have successfully made the amount of money we needed to make, and we've harvested and we've used the technology that we've needed to use. So this finishes this. Wanted to show you one more thing, and just click on this. So exactly. For the interface, I wanted to highlight one more thing, and this is this button here, which will be available shortly. And clicking on it will provide you with a variety of financial statistics and information. So using this, you can see specifically how expensive the different farming operations are and have been, how much you've paid for the various the various cost factors for farming, and then you can see how much you've earned with your harvest. This is your main way to make profit, and then you see a graph that shows you the development of your spendings, incomes, and the resulting profit. And most importantly, you can see what impact the technologies that you purchase have, because using and investing in technologies is the main focus of the game, and they will allow you to increase your profits over time, and also you will be able to experiment with it and see if you want to recreate your own farm or some parameters that are interested to you. You can do that, and then you can see what kind of SFT would be the best use and best value for your money. Yeah, this concludes the introduction to the Gates Smart Farming simulation platform. I hope you've enjoyed it and learned something, and feel free to try it out for yourself. You can reach it via gates.madaboutpandas.com and play it for free and increase your farming acumen. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.